It was on the Wednesday. John 13:21-32. After saying this, Jesus was troubled in spirit and declared, "Very truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." The disciples looked at one another, uncertain of whom he was speaking. One of his disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining next to him. Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask Jesus of whom he was speaking. So while reclining next to Jesus, he asked him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It is the one to whom I give the piece of bread when I have dipped it in the dish." So when he had dipped the piece of bread, he gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. After he received the piece of bread, Satan entered into him. Jesus said to him, "Do quickly what you are going to do." Now no one at the table knew why he had said this to him. Some thought that because Judas held the common purse, Jesus was telling him, "Buy what we need for the festival," or that he should give something to the poor. So after receiving the piece of bread, he immediately went out, and it was night. When he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him at once." Betrayal is such an ugly word, and such a terrible thing to suffer. We know what it's like when we've let people down, or people have let us down, or betrayed a confidence. Maybe we don't always recognize when we have let people down or betrayed their confidences, although I'm sure most of us have done so at some point in our lives. One therefore can't underestimate the pain Judas caused Jesus. 3 years a friend, a disciple, a close confidant. I wonder if in our honest moments, we too have been like Judas in the way we have betrayed Jesus. Each time we gather for worship, we have a prayer of confession, a recognition that we have not always been the people Jesus Christ calls us to be, that we've failed to give ourselves fully to him, that like Judas, we have sought our own way and not his. Even as Judas goes out into the night, Jesus sees more than betrayal. He proclaims a hope, a light for all of us who go out into the night rather than keeping Jesus company. For even in betrayal and death, Jesus will be glorified. God's purpose in Jesus won't be defeated. The love of God, which heals, forgives, and restores everyone, the whole creation, will be most profoundly seen and experienced through the crucified Jesus. Let us pray. You are cheap at the price, Jesus. 30 pieces of silver for a kingdom. I bet Judas and you had conversations galore about this for 3 years nearly. That his betrayal was no surprise to you. I can imagine Judas taking you aside saying, "Now, Lord, now. The people will listen and they'll rally around you. This is the God moment." And what was your reply? Did you have one? Or was it a silent acceptance of what people cannot accept? That love is a different way. It is never by force, never by conflict, never by violence. Help us to see that and love like you. Amen.